Nearly 40 years ago, Ron Fauquher founded CompuSaw, now Ontario Systems, along with Will Davis, and he built the Muncie-based company into a leading provider of enterprise software. Ontario Systems' footprint has expanded, establishing additional offices in Vancouver, Washington, Albuquerque, New Mexico. Ontario now has more than 500 employees in 28 states across the country. And I'm pleased now to welcome the retiring Ron Fauquher and incoming CEO Jason Harrington to the show. Gentlemen, welcome to the program.
Well, thank you, Gary. I appreciate the invitation.
Well, a big transition, because Ontario Systems, you told me off camera here, the quiet company, and I think that's true, but has had a very powerful message since being founded in 1980. Talk about, Ron, you and Will Davis started the company. What was that like back in 1980?
Yeah, it's really interesting, Gary, because back in the 1980, there was not very many software companies around. We were one of the earliest here in the state. And at that point in time, pre-IBM PC, pre-Apple computer, computing was pretty much big box computing, large projects, very expensive. And as we started the company as a custom software shop, we did a lot of things for a lot of different people before we honed in on the accounts receivable industry.
Yeah, and in particular, healthcare and government. What has been 500 plus employees now in 28 states? You have a significant company. What's really driven growth in your view?
You know, I think there's a number of things that have driven growth. First of all, just the growth of technology. Yeah. We see that in Indiana here with the growth in the tech sector that just didn't exist in the early 1980s and is now so robust. But also, the growth in the need to recover accounts receivable at a much faster pace, which is what we do across a number of industries, but primarily healthcare and government.
Jason Harrington, you're the incoming president and CEO at Ontario Systems. As you take on this role, your vision as you look at where you want to take the company.
Well, the vision really doesn't change a whole lot. I think it accelerates. You know, the recent acquisition by New Mountain Capital really is a confirmation that we're taking this legacy software company and turning it into a recurring revenue, SaaS, very modern software company. And so we've done some of that transformation. We've got a lot more work to do, and we're doing it in really exciting markets. And that's really the vision, is to keep doing what we've been doing, but do it at a bigger scale.
Yeah, as you look at growing the company, talent is always certainly a big issue, and talent's an issue in Indiana. It's an issue everywhere. But as you look at growing and the need and the ability to get talent in Indiana, how do you look at that picture?
Well, it's always something we talk about, because it is a real issue in East Central Indiana. We have the luxury of being, for 5 years in a row, best places to work in Indiana. We're one of the few tech organizations that can sort of raise that flag, and we just make our culture front and foremost. And so we just continue to pour into the culture, pour into the people, and make it a great place to be. And talent finds its way there.
Ron, as you compare, and you've mentioned it earlier, but 1980 when the company was founded, 2019 today, the difference in the landscape, if you will, for technology in Indiana.
Well, the difference is across a number of factors. First of all, there's more talent who actually knows how to program computers than was back in 1980. And the talent that is coming out of our wonderful schools here in Indiana are just really top-notch. So that's a big difference. But also there are economic development incentives now for software companies that did not exist back in the time. And there's also kind of a group consortium, everything from TechPoint on, that allows a networking to occur among CEOs and among other managers in the state of Indiana. None of that was there 40 years ago.
Well, we really appreciate you coming in on the show. Ron Fauquher, the founder and CEO, co-founder at Ontario Systems, and new CEO Jason Harrington. A lot, I know, ahead at Ontario Systems in Muncie. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks,
Thank
Gary.
you, Gary.
All right.